For the best under-18 players from around the world, this week has been about one thing: hoisting the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. For over 25 years, this tournament has been the launching pad for past, present, and future NHL superstars. And now the next generation takes to the ice to bring home gold for their country and to honor the tradition of two of the game's greatest legacies.
Here's Gretzky. Score! There's the record.
This is it, the gold medal game. Canada, Sweden at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup next. We are into the final day here at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Gold medals Saturday night, Team Sweden versus Team Canada. The Hlinka Gretzky trophy is in the building. Josh Williams with a sly smirk was the overtime hero in that win. In the semifinal against the United States, Alexis Lafreniere has been so clutch for Team Canada all tournament long. Nolan Meyer will get the start in net tonight for Canada. They'll face a tough task against the Team Sweden that they faced earlier on in the tournament. Big Philip Broberg and D-partner Tobias Bjornfot will man the blue line for Team Sweden. A very strong set of defensemen, and Lucas Raymond been very good for Team Sweden as well all week long. He will look to drive the offense. Hello everybody, welcome to Edmonton. I am Ryan Rashaw. Glad to have you along for this gold medal game here tonight between Canada and Sweden. No question at all, Canada caught a break in their semifinal against the United States, but it doesn't matter how you get there, it's what you do with the opportunity, and Team Canada will look to make good on that opportunity here tonight. Let's take you to the semifinal on Friday. Tie game in the third period, it's 4-4. Luke Toporowski will put the U.S. up 5-4, but then the controversy. Goal there from Dylan Cousins, but take another look. The time had run out before the puck went in the net. Now, they did not have the benefit of video review. The referees had to make the call as they saw it on the ice, and they called it a goal. Pushed the game to overtime with a berth in the finals on the line, and Josh Williams from the high slot scores a huge goal, propelling Canada into the final. And through the history of this tournament, Canada has been so dominant. 21 gold medals in 27 years, including golds in 9 of their last 10 years. Head coach Andre Tourigny knows the Swedes well. They beat them 4-3 earlier in the tournament, but knows they'll be tough with a gold medal on the line.
We expect to be a little bit more intense on both sides for sure. I think we all know that's the final one, that's the gold medal one. So we'll have a little bit of nerve on both sides, but a lot of intensity. Their D will skate with the puck like they do. They have a really good D, and they have skill and speed, so we expect to be able to slow them down and exploit our Canadian game, which is physical, and put puck deep and grind them down.
I know you felt you were too loose defensively last game. What areas do you need to buckle down in your own zone most?
I think it's our play with the puck mostly. I think we were a little bit nervous. We're not assertive enough. I think we need to make plays with the puck. We need our defensemen to have a good first passes, and our forward to keep the play simple, keep the play ahead of us, and like I said, establish our cycling game and establish our grind in the offensive zone and try to wear them down a little bit at 200 foot of our net.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thank you.
All right, time to head to the broadcast booth and join the men with the call, Gord Miller and Craig Button. Guys.
Ryan, it's quite possible that up to a dozen players picked in the first round of next year's NHL draft will be playing in this game. Alexis Lafreniere from Canada will not be one of them. Born in October of 2001, he has to wait till the 2020 draft. But Craig, he has been dynamite here.
He really has been, and it took him a little while to get on the score sheet, but once he did, it was like he got more wind in his sails, and he's been dangerous. He can threaten in so many different ways. You don't score 42 goals as a 16-year-old in the Quebec League by accident. First player since Sidney Crosby to do that in 03-04. his awareness on the ice, his understanding of where he can take advantage and get open, not only to make a play, but to finish a play. That's what separates him. That's what puts him into that elite class. I'll tell you what, Gord, for the 2020 draft, I have not seen a better player than Alexis Lafreniere.
Lafreniere plays left wing on the top line. Josh Williams has scored twice against the United States, including the overtime winner, plays right wing on the second line. Nolan Meyer gets to start once again in goal for Canada. If the strength of Canada's team is its forward group, the strength for Sweden is its defense, led by the outstanding Philip Broberg.
Yeah, and his improvement in a year's time, just in his ability to be more dynamic and to really dictate the game with his skating. He's got exceptional skating ability. And when you watch a player such as Broberg play, it screams top pair defenseman. There's not a situation or an area of the game where he can't excel, whether it be moving the puck up the ice with his skating or passing in the offensive zone, his physical play, defensive play, and he strikes me as being capable of being that one-man breakout. For me, Gord, right now, best defenseman available for the 2019 draft.
This top line for the Swedes has scored 7 of their 14 goals so far. Raymond and Holtz are both 16 years of age. Hugo Alnefelt got a second straight start for the Swedes, who lost to Canada 4-3 in the round robin. A terrific game. Canada won with a power play goal late in the third period. Ryan?
All right, gentlemen, a high-powered Swedish offense, defense checked out, and a high-powered Canadian offense. Where have we heard that before? Pretty much every time these teams have faced one another. Canada, Sweden, the gold medal at the Hlinka Gretzky is on the line.
The 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup from Edmonton and Red Deer, Alberta is brought to you by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 30 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey team. And by TELUS. Stand with TELUS to bring good sportsmanship online. Together, we can end bullying.
Welcome to Edmonton, the final game of the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup. A terrific crowd here in a National Hockey League building. What a stage for a bunch of 17-year-old and younger kids to play on national television in 2 countries. Nolan Meyer from Yorkton, Saskatchewan, plays for the Saskatoon Blades, gets the start. He allowed 5 goals on 39 shots in the game against the United States, the semifinal win. Hugo Alnefelt allowed 1 on 35 shots against the Russians. He was terrific in the semifinal win over Russia. And the head coach of the Swedish team is Magnus Havelin, the brother of Nicholas Havelin, Olympic gold medalist for the Swedes in 2006. Played a decade in the Swedish Hockey League. Andre Tournier, the head coach and GM of the Ottawa 67s of the Ontario League, is behind the Canadian bench. Canada is the home team, has the last change. And here we go. The future of the game on display here in Edmonton. Dylan Cousins will face off against Carl Henriksson for Sweden. This top line will get lots of ice time for the Swedes. And Cousins and his line will get the checking assignment. It was Cousins who scored the controversial tying goal for Canada in the semifinal against the United States. Here is Cousins. Banks it ahead to Dylan Holloway. Holloway taking the place of Jacob Pelche for Canada on this third line. Pelche broke his arm in Canada's last round robin game against the Swedes. Canada won that game 4-3. And that man who played the puck, Bowen Byram, scored the winning goal on the power play when Philip Broberg was on. And right away we got our first penalty being called 37 seconds in. A tripping call will go against Canada. And it's going to be Sasha Mutala who goes off.
Andre Tournier before the game talked about making a good first pass. Well, this is a sloppy first pass by Caden Korzak, and now Mutala comes in there with the stick, and one of the worst guys, if not the worst guy to turn the puck over to is Lucas Raymond. Mutala takes the penalty, 37 seconds in, Sweden on the power play.
With a little rules tweak here with the National Hockey League supervisor. Teams can pick which side they want to draw on. Raymond, he shoots, scores! Lucas Raymond, power play goal, 42 seconds in. And the Swedes have grabbed the lead.
Right off the bat, they pick the side, and then now Henriksson wins the faceoff. And now you go right to work. And Lucas Raymond in that spot on the ice, he's got his head up the entire time. There's the faceoff. Holtz jumps the play quickly over. All the room in the world. What a terrific play. All the way around. Raymond draws the penalty off the turnover. Right under the bar.
Not eligible for the draft until 2020, born in 2002. So 5 seconds into that power play, and we're going to have another penalty, I think.
Number 27.
Is this going to be a penalty for snowing the goaltender?
42 seconds. Team Sweden goal on the power play by Raymond, the assistant.
Delay of game, I believe, is the call here. Now, hang on. This is going against the Swedes. The call made by referee Alex Normandin. So someone who was on the ice at the time will have to serve it. And it will be Max Wahlgren. And so Canada chooses to have the face-off on the right side here. Kirby Dach in for the draw. Alex Lafreniere plays the point of the power play. Canada's 8 for 17 on the power play of the tournament, but 1 for 4 against the Swedes on Wednesday. Here is Dach with it. Kirby Dach of the Saskatoon Blaze. Native of Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, just outside Edmonton. Lafreniere plays it across to Byram. Owen Byram back for Lafreniere, in, shoots, and that was blocked in front by Broberg. So Onefeld called for delay of game. Clark swings it back for Byram. Owen Byram back across to Graham Clark. He walks in, shoots, and it's off the skate of Ludwig Hedstrom over the glass and out.
Right into those shooting lanes. Hedstrom gets right into the spot. Blocks that shot by Graham Clark.
Graham Clark played for Ottawa in the Ontario League. So the issue is that with IHF rules, if you have the opportunity to play the puck, they will tell you to play it. If you're not pressured, they'll call delay of game. That's a new IHF rule this year, one of several in a package that was approved at the Congress last spring. Another is a late hit penalty. In other words, if you finish your check too late, they will call it a penalty, and they've called it very tight here.
Listen, I'm all in support of it. That isn't the place to call it there. The puck's coming off the backboards, the Canadian players coming in. Don't agree with that call at all.
Barron swings it back for Suzuki. His cross-ice pass for Cousins. In, shoots off the outside of the post. And Henriksen hacks that to the line, and by Justin Barron of the Halifax Mooseheads of the Quebec Major Junior League. Barron's a Halifax native whose team will host the Memorial Cup in 2019. In comes Barron with it. Swings it back across to Suzuki. Ryan Suzuki, whose older brother Nick, is already a first-round pick by the Vegas Golden Knights. And now sent down the ice by the Swedes as Broberg won that battle for the puck. 25 seconds to go in the Canadian power play. The Swedes also open the scoring in the round-robin meeting. Lafreniere drops it back on for Jamison Reese. Across he goes. And then with a quick shot, and the save made by Elnefelt. The puck almost got free. Now Robertson a chance. Rebound Lafreniere sends it back in front. Dach couldn't reach it. And Groenhagen has it back and sends it back to center. Good looks for Canada on that power play. 5 shots on goal. Max Wahlgren steps back on after serving the penalty. In comes Jamison Reese. Reese, who plays for Sarnia in the OHL, native of Hamilton, Ontario, got tied up there in the corner by Alexander Lundqvist, the nephew of the great Nick Lidstrom. Philip Ostrom chips it down now for the Swedes. Back goes Robertson for it. Matthew Robertson from Sherwood Park, Alberta, plays for the Edmonton Oil Kings right in this building. His brother Tyler won a Memorial Cup here in 2014 with the Oil King. Arvid Kosmar up ahead for Isaac Anderson, picked up now by Byram. Owen Byram drops it back for Caden Korzak of the Kelowna Rockets. Up ahead to Xavier Perron. Perron got tied up at center ice. And now Byram back to pick it up. 5-1, the shots on goal in favor of Canada. The Swedes scored in their first shot of the game. Clark winds it down to the Swedish zone. And Perron gets there first, plays it back across for Samuel Poulin, whose dad Patrick played the National Hockey League for Hartford and Chicago. And now Byram is going to get a penalty there for shoving down Carl Sjöberg in front of the Swedish bench. And so the Swedes, after scoring in their first power play of the game 5 seconds in, will back on the power play as Bowen Byram goes off for a cross check.
4 minutes and 1 second in, we have our third penalty of the game, and it's clearly a cross check right on the lower back. Dylan Cousins on the power play has a really good look at the net here outside of the post.
So once again, the Swedes choose that left side for the face-off.
We'll get
Henriksen lost the face-off to Cousins. And Braden Schneider plays that to the line, but not out. Holtz back for Bjornfot. He shoots, that deflected in front. Reaching for there's Elmer Soderblom, the 6'6" forward. Drops it back. Holtz in and shoots. He fired that wide. Henriksen lost the puck to Cousins. He's got Holloway away short-handed. In comes Dylan Holloway. Plays for Okotoks in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. He's heading to Wisconsin in the fall of 2020. Matala back for Korzak. And Canada killing some time as Korzak fires it down. Broberg leaves it there for Holtz. And the 16-year-old winds his way across the line, drops it off. In comes Raymond. He lost the puck. And Suzuki sends it down. Crowd still filing in. We understand there's lots of people outside still buying tickets at the will call window here as Broberg brings it in and flips that wide to the goal. What an atmosphere for these young men to play in.
Terrific atmosphere.
Alnefelt leaves it down for Broberg. How long will he last at the 2019 draft?
Not long.
Berselius brings it in now. 35 seconds to go in the power play. And Robertson works it free, rings it around, and back down to the Swedish zone.
There's some good defensemen available for this draft, but his ability to command the game in every single area separates him.
Arvid Kosmar falls at center ice. Matala knocked down away, and now the captain, Tobias Bjornfot, swings back to pick it up. Drops it off for Henriksen. 10 seconds to go in the power play. In comes Carl Henriksen. Swings around Korzak. Henriksen still on it, and Korzak steps into him. No shots on goal for the Swedes in that power play as Byram steps back on the ice. Here's Korzak with it. Ahead for Matala. Up for Suzuki. He's got Lafreniere jumping in. And now Suzuki centers it, bounces around the side of the goal, still loose and knocked down by Bjornfot. In comes Raymond with it now. Lucas Raymond bumps it in. He and Barron collide. The puck moves at the side of the goal, scooped up now by Holtz. Alexander Holtz fires, and Meyer knocks that away. And the puck went off the glass into the meshing, and play is called. Lucas Raymond has the early power play goal. Sweden leads Canada 1-0 in the championship game of the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup, powered by Ram. Normally ceremonial face-offs are uneventful. This was Wednesday night's game between Canada and Sweden. And Swedish captain Tobias Bjornfot, there was 2 pucks, but he fought for both of them. His teammates and the coaching staff had a good laugh. So tonight, just 1 puck. And Bjornfot actually scrambled the ceremonial face-off. Finally, Lafreniere dug it out, and Magnus Havlin having a laugh on the Swedish bench.
You know, big game. It's obviously the championship game, and it's wonderful to see the players being able to have a little bit of fun at the outset.
And now Peyton Krebs tosses from a face-off, and Kirby Dach will step in to take it. One back at the point, and that shot drifted wide by Ludwig Hedstrom. Lafreniere up ahead for Krebs, chips it there to Dach. And away comes Kirby Dach, in across the line now. Dach shoots from a sharp angle. Alnefelt makes the stop and able to hang on to that. So that's a case where Dach was pressuring the goaltender, so they'll allow him to freeze it.
I thought he was under pressure the previous, but here's Broberg. So the way he closes the play on the boards, just seals them off, quickly goes for the puck, takes a look, understands where the outlet is on the penalty kill. Always composed.
Now Suzuki gets tossed out, and so Jamison Reese will step in for the draw. Wins it back to Gannett. His shot deflected, and Alnefelt made a good save. Schoberg banks it off the boards and back to center ice. Matthew Robertson waiting for it. Robertson has scored a couple of goals, including one against Sweden in this tournament. A big goal in the 3rd period of that 4-3 win. Robertson digging for it. Picked free by Kosmar. He drops it back for Lucasen. And Lucasen was poke checked there by Suzuki. Maxence Gannett plays it back out to center ice. Williams falls. And Suzuki chops at it. It's picked up by Gannett. Rink wide, he goes for Reese. He's got Williams with him. In comes Reese with a chance and ramps off the stick of Lundqvist. Up and out of play, 12:34 to go in the first period.
If there's anything the Swedes could have learned by watching the semifinal game on Friday night between USA and Canada, USA forwards put a lot of pressure on Canada's defense. They didn't let them have easy outlets, and they forced them into some mistakes. It was a little bit unsettling for the Canadian defense, and the Swedes, by putting on pressure, might be able to have some success in that regard also.
Shots are 7-1 in favor of Canada. Doc plays it around for Krebs. Got spun around by Raymond. They basically run this line out every second or third shift. They don't keep track of ice time in this tournament, but they've got to be well over 20 minutes for these three forwards, especially Raymond and Henriksen, who kill penalty.
It seems like every time you pick up your head and there's an offensive chance, they're right in the middle of it.
Byram flips it ahead for Doc. Doc with a rink-wide pass for Lafreniere, and sweeps that down to the Swedish zone. Krebs goes after it. And back is Broberg to play it around. Henriksen tied up there by Byram, who's pitched up. Krebs comes in as well. And now Ludwig Hedstrom has it back. Hedstrom, lead pass for Holt sleeping in. He got knocked down. And Poulin has it back ahead for Clark. In comes Poulin with it. Samuel Poulin posts up, sends it back door, walking in and shooting. The chance there. McCoyovic's shot turned away by Alnefeld. Justin Barron plays it in for Poulin. Icing waved off as Bjornfot has a look. He's tied up there by Clark. Great pace here in the first period. Clark back on it. Swings it back to the point. McCoyovic with a shot deflected just wide as Alnefeld got a piece of that. Raymond back with it. Chips the puck ahead to Berzelius, and Oscar Berzelius works in. Berzelius, a backhand shot goes off the pad of Meyer. Shot by Bjornfot goes off a foot. And back out to center ice. Bjornfot, in for Berzelius. He was tied up. And now Barron picks it up. He had Max Wallgren all over him. Clark fires it down in the Swedish zone. Holloway goes to race for it. Holloway steamrolls his man as he sends Albert Johansson flying. Fired back down by Robertson. The puck goes loose in front. And Johansson back on it. Puck picked free there by Cousins. Dylan Cousins back to Schneider along. Wrist shot. Oliver makes the save. The puck drops down. Holloway reaching for it. Mutala trying to pick it free. And now Mutala centers it for Cousins. That bounced off a leg. And Schneider has to retreat as Soderblom is bearing it on him. Elmer Soderblom comes across the line, but the play is offside.
Dylan Holloway, aggressive play in on the forecheck, and it's a pretty hard hit on Albert Johansson, but that's how Andre Tournier wants his group to play. Put the pressure on, put the body on, try to create some turnovers. They're really trying to crowd the goaltender too, Hugo Alnefeld. Get the bodies around him, make him fight for position.
Lead pass to Comstar. Comstar lost the puck. There's Williams, picks it up. Josh Williams centers it. A chance for Suzuki. That deflected wide. And Comstar back with it. Schoberg chops out. That's knocked down by Robertson. Keeps it alive in front of the net. And now moved ahead and picked up by Isaac Anderson. Anderson lays it down to the Canadian zone as the Swedes are changing. And Robertson slides it ahead for Reese. That pass was picked off by Schoberg. And Meyer knocks that long shot away. Reese picks the puck free, banks it off the boards, and the puck goes into the Canadian bench. And a glove save made by the backup goaltender, Taylor Gauthier. Nice stop. His save percentage goes up too. 1-0 Sweden leads here in the first period. This tournament first began as the Phoenix Cup back in 1991, and look at this handsome group of young men who represented Canada. There's Chris Pronger, behind him Mike Pekka and Paul Correa. 9 years later, they played together in the Vancouver Olympics. Marc-Andre Fleury for the 2001 Six Nations Cup. Then a couple years later, Rick Nash also played in that tournament. Sidney Crosby would play for Canada in the Junior World Cup in 2003, having just turned 16 years of age. A year later, he played in the World Junior for Canada. So face-off warning issued now. And they've been tight with this as well in this tournament. Henriksen against Krebs. Krebs was the drawback for Korzak. Caden Korzak from that defense factory in Kelowna, BC, where the likes of Shea Weber, Josh Georges, and Tyler Myers have come. And there's an icing call. You think back to other summer under-18 tournaments. How about Carey Price at the 2004 Junior World Cup? So there's the spring under-18 tournament that the IIHF operates. That's for players coming up for the immediate National Hockey League draft. This is for players eligible for next year's draft and beyond, for 2001s or later. So these players, most of them, will likely play in the 2021 World Junior.
And the European players that are here at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup will be playing at the 2019 U18 in April.
Right. A lot of the Canadian players aren't available because they're playing in the junior playoffs. As that's knocked down by Hedstrom and shot wide. Canada's won 9 of the last 10. The Swedes won it in 2007. The only country other than Canada to win it in the last decade, the Czech Republic, 2 years ago.
And at the U18 tournament this previous April in Russia, Alexis Lafreniere, Bowen Byram, and Matthew Robertson all played for Canada.
Nifty move by Krebs, works his way in, slaps it back across, and the pass is picked off by Soderblom. Rink wide, he goes for Holtz, working in, walks in and shoots, scores! Alexander Holtz sweeps in, puts a rocket over the shoulder of Meyer, and it's 2-0 Sweden.
They're making a goaltending change right now. Taylor Gauthier is coming into the net.
That's 2 goals on the first 3 shots, and that'll chase Meyer for the net.
I don't know what you want Nolan Meyer to do. First, Lucas Raymond, an elite offensive player and a shooter, beats him. And then Holtz on the drive beats him in the same place. But that's a turnover by Peyton Krebs in the offensive zone. And these players are so good at being able to get moving quickly up the ice. And those are 2 great shots. First by Raymond and then Alexander Holtz.
So the 2 16-year-olds in that top line have struck for the Swedes. And on comes Taylor Gauthier, the Prince George Cougars of the Western Hockey League, the Calgary native. He's a right-handed catching goalie. Only 5 of them played in the NHL last year. Only 7 have played more than 500 games in the NHL. It's an unusual thing to see. And now Schneider along, shot kicked away by Alnefelt. So a goaltending change for Canada, 11.5 minutes in. As Bowen Byram winds his way in, spins and shoots, scores! Byram snaps it home, and Canada's on the board. That might have been tipped by Mutala.
We've seen some quick responses by Canada following goals against. Well, this comes after a goal against and a goaltending change. Mutala's reaction after the shot comes through indicates that he did get that. Looks like off the forehand, off the tip of his blade right there, up and over Alnefelt.
So Mutala becomes the 15th different Canadian to score in this tournament. And the goal comes 41 seconds after the Swedes had taken a 2-1 lead. Poulin drops it back for Barron. Plays it across to Vukojevic. Lead pass for Clark. In comes Graham Clark with a chance now. Clark wheels behind the Swedish goal. Clark. Vukojevic was teed up for the one-timer. Now Barron with it. Barron along wrist shot. Alnefelt makes the stop. A late whack there from Poulin. And Alnefelt, the Swedish goaltender, hangs on. So 3 goals in the first 12.5 minutes of this first period.
There's Taylor Gauthier who came into that. And coaches at times will make a change because the goaltender needs to be changed. And sometimes you're trying to give your team a jolt. And Nolan Meyer played really well in the semifinal game. I can't blame him on any of these first 2 goals by the Swedes, but when you're part of a team, and sometimes it's that jolt to get the rest of the players a little bit more attention, and certainly for Andre Chorny, I think it worked there.
Broberg works in. Now Holtz is not playing the wing on this line. This is Henriksen with Raymond, and Isaac Anderson is the other winger. Josh Williams works in, collides there with Henriksen. The puck worked free to Reese. He was knocked down. Reese throws it back in front, bouncing puck. Reese reaching for it. And at the point, kept alive by Vukojevic. Now Williams a long shot. Loose puck in front. Reese couldn't quite reach it. Played around by Suzuki. Back to Williams. Josh Williams, the Langley, BC native, spins back. Being watched there by Broberg. Williams, great work on the puck. Flips it back across to Barron. Williams a long shot. Flutters just wide. Alnefelt filmed the play. Now it's picked up by Suzuki. Great pressure by Canada. Rink wide pass. Barron works in a rolling puck. Shoots short side. Alnefelt made the save. Reese tried to drop it back. And finally moved out by the Swedes, who desperately need a change. Barron spins. Sends it up the ice for Reese. And here comes Canada again. Reese winds and shoots. That's blocked by Hedstrom. What a pace here in the first period. First time this tournament's been televised. And what a treat we've had. Write down these names, including this one, Alexis Lafreniere. You'll be hearing him for the next decade or longer. And now they'll play offside at the Swedish line. Sasha Motala from Vancouver, BC has Canada on the board, his first of this Hlinka Gretzky Cup. 2-1 the Swedes lead here in period number 1. Among the innovations being used here, the referee cam, the IIHWHockey for the World Championship. That shot being taken by our man Nate. Hides is on the ice with his camera. Nate's giving us great views throughout this tournament. There's clocks in the corners, in 2 of the 4 corners of the building. The NHL is trying that innovation as well. You see how that's received. Those clocks might be bigger the next time they use them, and they might be in all 4 corners.
Chris King, Vice President of Hockey Operations at the NHL, said he was talking to Gerard Gallant. The busy scoreboards, Gerard told him, makes it hard to sometimes pick up how much time is left. Gerard Gallant thinks it'll be a really good thing for the coaches.
Matthew Robertson picks it ahead now for Canada, slides it for Lafreniere. Flips that by Broberg. Again, Canada has the last change here. Doc knocks it free in front for Lafreniere. Spins and shoots, score! Tipped home by Doc, and the game is tied.
Alexis Lafreniere, we've seen him score, but it's the anticipation of where the puck's going and then where the next play needs to go. He's so smart, he's so aware. He cuts in front of the net, and then as he picks off this little play, he throws it right back, and Doc makes no mistake. There's Lafreniere cutting it off, and he's so smart at directing it back towards the net, and Doc redirects it perfectly.
2 goals.
Another example of Lafreniere's anticipation skills.
2 goals in 2 minutes and 21 seconds for Canada. The shots are 13-3 in a 2-2 tie. Now Cousins pokes it ahead. Kirby Doc had 46 points in 52 games for Saskatoon in the Western League. All Western League rookies with 39 assists. And a big goal here to tie the game at 2 in a very brisk first period. Now Motala works in. That pass is intercepted by Ostrom and played back to center ice. Korzak fires it back in. And Motala back on the forecheck for Canada. Motala along with Holloway. Holloway pokes it free. Holloway taken down. And the battle for the puck continues. Holloway back with it. Banks that back for Byram. Cross he goes for Korzak. Korzak with a wrist shot. Alnefelt made the save through that forest of legs. And now Motala has it back. For Korzak, another wrist shot, and that hit something up high. It might have been the goaltender's mask, Alnefelt, and Byram holds the line again. Trying to step around Wahlgren there. Joel Wahlgren stayed on it, long shooting, glove down by Alnefelt.
And that's where Alnefelt needs to play the puck, and he does.
And we got a pile up in front of the Swedish bench. Joel Wahlgren is tangled up there with, I think it's Byram. That is Bowen Byram. And Byram, I think, is going to get the penalty. No, they're both going to go. So Byram and Wahlgren will go off.
There's Lafreniere leading to that goal. Broberg makes such a good play. He just banks it off the boards to Hedstrom, but Hedstrom turns it over. But Lafreniere, because he's anticipating where the play is going next, cuts it off, finds the puck, puts it right towards the net. Kirby Dach redirects it.
Now Canada's arguing here that the faceoff should not be in their zone because play was called due to the pileup in front of the Swedish bench, but the faceoff will in fact be in the Canadian zone. Referees Mike Campbell for the Western League, Alex Norman who works in the American League and the East Coast League. All Hockey Canada level 6 officials. So 4-on-4 here with under 4 to go in the first period. Justin Barrett up ahead for Josh Williams. Scooped up now by Johansson. Albert Johansson taken down. The puck loose behind the goal. And Broberg has it back. He loves to skate the puck. Broberg drops it back for Johansson. And Johansson, a little extra move there, put his teammates offside as Arvid Kosmar moved into the Canadian zone. Shots are 14-3 Canada, 2-2 the score. Yesterday in the semifinal against the United States, Canada trailed 4 different times. And of course, there was the controversial tying goal by Dylan Cousins, which came after time had expired. Video review is not used in this tournament. The reason for that is 3 arenas are being used. In Red Deer, the community rink next to this building, and this one. Only this one is equipped for video review. So the decision was made prior to the tournament that if it couldn't be used in all arenas for all games, there would be no video review in this tournament.
It was a miss, because they should have put it in for the medal round in this building.
Carl Henriksson works his way in front of Vukojevic. And now Krebs back on it, tied up there by Lucas Raymond. Centering pass, and a chance for Henriksson, turned away in tight by Taylor Gauthier.
That Lucas Raymond is unbelievable, hounding the puck, making plays. He picks up this puck off the... Canada closes the play pretty well, but then he takes the puck and right back to Henriksson. Lucas Raymond's just next on the puck. He takes it right from Krebs, and then quickly a scoring chance. That is Taylor Gauthier's first shot, first save. Pretty good scoring chance.
Well, he did make that glove save on the bench for the puck to win in there.
Yeah. Okay, good point.
That's all the warm-up he got.
Maybe that was his feel for the game.
Borzak slides it across to Robertson. And away comes Matthew Robertson. He's sent flying at center ice. And the crowd buzzing about that. Oscar Berselius flips it down to the Canadian zone. Borzak got tied up there. And now work free to Holtz. Holtz feeds it back at the point. Walking in now is Bjornfoot. In, shoots, and a glove save by Taylor Gauthier.
Matthew Robertson is moving up the ice. He's a swift skating defenseman as he cuts across here. Looks like that could have been a tripping penalty for sure. As Gord Miller gives me the wave and says, come on, stay on your feet. Debate is good.
Barron works his way in, slides it across for Lafreniere. Throws it back in front. It's picked up by Henriksson. And away comes Carl Henriksson, the grand old man on that top line for Sweden at the age of 17. Drop back, picked off by Lafreniere. He flips it ahead and moves around Raymond. And Raymond stays with him. Lafreniere pokes it ahead, still has it. Rolling puck. Lafreniere works in, shoots, scores! What a goal by Alexis Lafreniere! A superstar in the making.
Wow. You know what I think, Gord? Wow. Let's just see the pictures. Let the picture tell the story. I mean, this is brilliance. The hands, how quick they are. His ability to strip the puck, that's Lucas Raymond, and he stays with it. And then quickly back to his forehand. Moves the goalie right out of position in tight.
Undressed Hedstrom on the play.
Unbelievable skill. That's the other thing about Alexis Lafreniere. The bigger the game, the harder the challenges. He always rises up to it.
4th goal of the tournament for him. And Canada has the lead with less than 2 minutes to go here in the first period.
There's 2 retired numbers in this building, 99 and 11, Gretzky and Messier. You talk about rising to the occasion. They did that at every turn. You see that from Lafreniere.
Lafreniere, the Quebec League Rookie of the Year, scored 42 goals for Rimouski, the 16-year-old. Perron moves in, and don't forget Lafreniere not eligible for the draft until 2020. He's a late-born 2001. Still just 16 years of age. The draft open to players born before September 15th, 2001. Now a hard shot there by Philip Ostrom, and at the other end of the rink, Taylor Gauthier making his presence felt. 3 goals for Canada in a span of 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
You watch Lafreniere. So Lafreniere starts this entire play in the defensive zone, but then as he moves laterally, and he makes a goaltender have to defend the whole net because he can maneuver his hands, get his hands around the puck on the backhand. He can elevate the puck quickly and tight. If you're a goaltender, it's a nightmare to play against him.
You know, it's funny. Lafreniere has all the makings of being an NHL star, and when he is, these people here tonight are going to say, I saw him when he was 16. I knew then.
Well, I mean, there certainly is the evidence that shows itself with the star players.
In comes Dylan Cousins with it. Cousins shoots. That just missed high. Cousins from Whitehorse, Yukon territory. Now walking in, that quick shot taken by Holtz. So they've taken Holtz off his top line. An intriguing move by Swedish coach Magnus Havlet. To the top line, had scored 7 of their 14 goals coming in. And now Holloway with it. Holloway winds in. Drops it on for Cousins. Cousins moves it down to Barron. Winds and shoots. That bounced just wide off a stick. Holloway back on it. And I will say that was hit by a Canadian stick above the shoulder. And the play is gone with 35 seconds to go in the period.
And I think for Magnus Havlet to switch around Holtz a little bit, it's because of the loss of Albin Grove. There's the shot from Barron, and right off the head, bounces up.
Metalla on the head. Now the Swedes without Greve, who was injured in the game against Russia. Now Doc with it. He's taken down. And a hand pass called against Canada. The faceoff will come outside.
So it seems that the Swedes' third and fourth lines don't have a lot of offensive ability. And then when you lose Albin Grove, really good, industrious, hard-working player that can contribute offense, I think Magnus Havlet is just trying to find a little bit more balance in those first 2 lines.
Coming up in our first intermission, Craig Button will join Ryan Rashog and talk about your top 5 prospects for the upcoming NHL draft. Vasily Podkolzin of Russia tore this tournament to pieces. A hat-trick earlier in the bronze medal game against the United States. Will he be in your top 5? Don't ruin it. My top 5 has 15 players in it after seeing the tournament in Kamloops last week. And here this week, Lafreniere, big hit there as he unloads on Berzelius. And Doc brings it back the other way. Doc, he's sent flying. Play continues. And now Broberg has it back. Broberg knocked down by Doc, and Broberg is injured. Broberg collides with Doc. Raymond comes over. Philip Broberg very slow to get to his feet after that collision with Canada's Kirby Doc. And Broberg is up and skating off.
Nothing egregious there. Just coming through the body. Catches him in that midsection, but
lots of hard hockey here in the first period, and lots of scoring too. The Swedes take a 2-0 lead. Canada roars back with 3 straight. And it doesn't appear as though there's going to be a penalty called here. And the good news is that Broberg, who is a candidate to make Craig Button's top 5 for the upcoming draft, appears to be all right. So our first emission's coming up. You're watching the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup, powered by Ram, live on TSN and the NHL Network. And what a start we're off to.
represent because they represent every year. The 2019 World Juniors are coming back to the West Coast, and it's time to represent again.
Well, how about a 5-goal first period between Team Sweden and Team Canada? 3-2, Canada leads. And one of the nicest goals you'll see scored in that opening 20 minutes. Joined now by Canada forward Alexis Lafreniere. Alexis, the 3-2 goal for your squad. Take us through at a rush that started back in your own zone.
Yeah, I just go big tracking, and I just start skating with the puck forward, and I made a little move to the D, and Krebs, he made a really nice job to pick his guy, and I was alone, so I scored.
You're having a lot of offensive success, not only scoring goals, but setting them up as well. Kirby Dach scored a goal. Maybe talk about the goal that he scored and your role in that as well.
Yeah, I was in front of the net doing a really good job to screen the goalie, and I just threw the puck to the net, and he tipped it, so that was a really nice goal by him.
You got down 2-0 early in that game, Alexis. Was it tough not to let the nerves get the better of you? And what was said on the bench?
Yeah, they got 2 quick goals, so we just said to sticking with the plan and keep going, keep working, and you know that finished by paying off.
Thanks, Alexis.
Thank you.
Alexis Lafreniere, CHL Rookie of the Year. The fans here at Edmonton are getting to know him well. Craig Button is after the break. Bronze medal final went earlier on today between the United States and Russia. Pick it up in the third, 2-1 Russia. Vasily Podkolzin tore this tournament to shreds, made it 3-1 Russia. Then later in the third, now 3-2. It's Podkolzin again. The hat trick goal is 8th of the tournament, made it 4-2. The U.S. would make it 4-3, but Russia strikes. Ilya Nikolaev from Podkolzin, of course. 5-3 Russia, that is the game-winning goal. 5-4 was the final score. The Russians win their 3rd bronze medal in the last 4 years.
Your first period scoring summary is busy. Lucas Raymond on the power play, 42 seconds in, also scored the first goal against Canada on Wednesday. Alexander Holtz makes it 2-0. Then back comes Canada with 3 in 5.5 minutes. Metala his first, Dach his second, Lafreniere his 4th. Canada's had 15 different goal scorers in this tournament. Gord Miller back here with Craig Button. And Craig, I got to say, this is the first time this tournament's been televised. You've been going to it for a long time. The first thing people get as a takeaway from here is the skill is unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. And this building has one of the most gifted players that plays here 41 times a year in Connor McDavid. While Alexander Holtz, Lucas Raymond, I mean, right off the bat, the ability to pick your spot and finish on it is exceptional. Holtz not available to the 2020 draft. He finds the under part of the top of the net, and then Canada gets to work. And you know, the abilities of good players. Philip Broberg, a top defenseman available, his edge work, his ability to beat the pressure and move the puck up the ice in so many different ways. And then what can you say about Alexis Lafreniere? Not just his ability to make plays, but his ability to finish them. This starts from his own zone, and he goes all the way up the ice, and he's concentration, his strength on the puck, and then the soft hands in tight. Skill is certainly on display here.
Cousins up for the face-off to start this period. 5-on-5. There were no penalties at the end of the first period. Bowen Byram lays it ahead for Holloway, for Cousins. Cousins tries to poke down ahead. It's gloved down by Holtz. Holtz is back out there with Henriksen and Raymond. In comes Henriksen, a shot that goes wide. Off the end boards it goes to Carl Henriksen. Back at the point, in comes Broberg. Winds and shoots, that goes wide. And these teams pick up right where they left off at the end of the first period as Byram picks it up. Puck in behind Byram, kicked ahead by Raymond. And as you said, if Raymond doesn't have the puck, he soon will. Here's Henriksen with it. Spins and sends it in front. Holtz whipped that wide, he was alone in front. Holtz back with it. Pass picked off by Mutala. And Sasha Mutala gains center ice and lays that down to the Swedish zone. Didn't get it deep though. And Broberg quickly ahead for Henriksen to Raymond. Lucas Raymond in, shoots, whistled that high and wide. Half the crowd not in its seats yet. There's been 3 scoring chances already. Worked in now by Dach. He throws that through the crease. Barron steps up. Now Pete Krebs swings back at center ice. Krebs from the Kootenay Ice of the Western League. Left for Dach, up for Lafreniere. Lafreniere in, shoots, and that was blocked in front by the captain, Bjorn Foot.
Lucas Raymond has to be a nightmare to play against.
Now, Vukojevic knocked that away from Waldron. Here's Krebs with it. Lafreniere in, shoots, and the save is made by Almefelt. Brought in now by Soderblom. In comes Soderblom, bumping there with Braden Schneider. And the puck goes in the corner for the hulking Soderblom. Walks out of the corner, Soderblom shovels that across. It's picked up by Lafreniere. And a penalty coming here to Canada in the early stages, 1:57 into the period. It'll be a holding call, and it's going against Braden Schneider of the Brandon Wheat King.
Soderblom uses his size and he takes it to the net. And now he gets Schneider on the wrong side of him. That's how you power to the net. Use that size. He spins off of him in the corner. Now he powers to the net, and there's the hand right under the left arm of Soderblom, right in front of the referee. They're not going to miss those ones.
So Sweden 1 for 2 on the power play, scored a power play goal in its first shot of the game in the first minute. And Raymond, the man who scored it, is standing back at the point. So position Elmer Soderblom in front of the net at 6'6". Henriksen sends it back across. Raymond a drive, kicked away by Gauthier. Henriksen picks the puck free, sends it rink wide for Holt. Alexander Holt's back for Raymond. He shoveled that wide. Raymond's had 3 good looks here in the first couple of minutes of the second period. Holt in, shoots, that goes wide. Raymond back on it. Plays it back for Henriksen. That's picked off by Suzuki. He's got Cousins with him. In comes Suzuki. Ahead for Cousins, alone in front. It bounced off his stick. Cousins back on it. Now moved ahead by Bjorn Foot. Gains the line, it drops it off to Holt. And that shot whistled high and wide by Soderblom. Described by some scouts here as a diamond in the rough. Elmer Soderblom, 6'6", 214-pound, 17-year-old.
You watch him use that power, and you start to look at greater potential.
Henriksen feeds it back, and Broberg's shot kicked away by Gauthier. Henriksen walks out of the corner. Henriksen shoots. Gauthier save. Rebound loose in front. It's in his equipment, and Gauthier has it.
Short-handed Ryan Suzuki and Dylan Cousins. Suzuki lays it here pretty good, but just under the stick of Dylan Cousins, because he had lots of room to work with in tight, but underneath the stick it goes, and with it the opportunity.
Robertson picks it up and fires it down. 40 seconds to go as Holloway has it. Holloway with Krebs. Holloway slides it across, and that pass broken up on a great defensive play by Broberg. He hasn't sung the national anthem, and he hasn't driven the Zamboni.
Other than that,
I can't think of anything you do on the ice he hasn't done. Holloway strips, moves it in for Cousins. Cousins, Holloway, Cousins in, shoots, all the same by Almefelt. On a 2-on-0 short-handed, Almefelt turns them away.
a real good play. Dylan Holloway strips Philip Broberg coming up the ice. Gets his stick in there, and we haven't seen Broberg make many mistakes at all, but this is one of them. Holloway gets that stick flat, and then here they come. Pass back, and
here's the rule change for the IIHF. Because the Swedish player knocked the net off, even unintentionally, they can't change. Broberg knocked it off. He has to stay on the ice, and these guys are tired. 17 seconds to go in the power play. They win the face-off, and will start the change. Broberg with the puck, though. That's a rule change the IIHF has brought in. As Kosmar works in. Arvin Kosmar shoots. That's over the glass and out. So Dylan Cousins is quite a story from Whitehorse, Yukon territory. Only 2 players born in Yukon have ever played in the NHL. Peter Sturgeon played 6 games for the Colorado Rockies. Brian Baltimore played 2 games for the NHL Edmonton Oilers in their first year. Jeff Sanderson, born in Hay River, Northwest Territories, is the only player for the Territories to play, but Cousins moved down to Delta, BC to play for the Delta Hockey Academy as a bantam. What an amazing journey to the Western Hockey League. 4 shots for the Swedes on that power play. Schneider steps back on. Isaac Anderson pivots back in the corner, being shadowed there by Vukojevic. Michael Vukojevic of the Kitchener Rangers of the OHL gets in the way of that pass. Steamrolls his man as the puck is loose at center ice. Albert Johansson fires it back down the Canadian zone, and Taylor Gauthier leaves it there. Gauthier, who came on in relief of Nolan Meyer. 8.5 minutes into the game with the Canadians down 2-0. In comes Krebs with it. Pass ahead for Lafreniere. He was poke checked by Lundqvist. And there's Raymond back out there. The line held by Korzak. Plays it back behind the Swedish goal. Lafreniere trying to hunt it down. And now Xavier Perron taken down. And once again, play continues. Here's Raymond with it. Lucas Raymond moves the puck to center ice. Got bumped there by Byram. Gauthier out to play it. Moves it away from Raymond. And swung around for Clark. Up ahead for Perron. Xavier Perron's stick was tied up by Henriksen. Kicks the puck back down to the Swedish zone. 17-9. The shots on goal in favor of Canada. And Henriksen moves ahead along with Raymond. The drop pass for Raymond. Holtz is the trailer. Centering pass for Holt. Chips the right arm. What a save by Gauthier. Broberg moves in. He was poke checked by Byram. Oh, what a save. But a defensive play by Byram.
I can't take my eyes off of Lucas Raymond and Alexander Holtz.
Now Max Ballgren comes across the blue line. The play is offside. Wow.
It really is. When they're on the ice, they're so dangerous. Just feathers it right on the tape, and Gauthier reads it, gets over there, and then Byram sweeps the loose puck away from Broberg.
Great stop.
And Byram has to leap over Gauthier to get to that puck.
Now Suzuki up ahead for Reese. Up ahead for Williams, who sweeps it around, and Suzuki gets there first. Ryan Suzuki, the London, Ontario native, who plays for Dale Howardchuk with the very Colts of the OHL. Chipped ahead to Oscar Berzelius. His long shot, gloved by Gauthier. Leaves it there for Schneider, ahead to Williams. Chips it for Reese, he lost the handle. And Soderblom works out of the corner. A backhand shot stopped by Gauthier. The rebound chipped away by Matthew Robertson.
So there's another play by Soderblom. The size, he looks nimble, looks like he has that potential, some pretty good hands.
Bumping there with Holloway, and he sent Holloway flying. And now Barron up ahead for Holloway. He's got Cousins with him. Holloway sends it back in front. That's skipped away from Cousins. Sweden out shooting Canada 7-2 here in the period. Cousins finds some room, in shoots, and Alnefelt just knocked that down with a catching glove. Brought back now by Soderblom. He goes off on a change, banks it down the Canadian zone. And Vukojevic ahead for Mutala. In comes Sasha Mutala. Peels back in the corner. Mutala plays for the Tri-City Americans of the Western Hockey League. Plays it back down for Holloway. Holloway feeds it back to Vukojevic. Here's Byram with it now. And Byram through the middle now, sweeps it in. Byram works around the back of the net. Byram still with it. Oh, what a move behind the goal by Byram. Feeds it down to Mutala. Worked free by Holloway. He tries to poke it back. And Holloway back on it. Crisscrossing with Mutala. Cousins comes in. And now Holloway back with it. Dylan Holloway feeds it back at the point. That long shot hit a skate in front. As the drive by Korzak was blocked. And now Korzak
on the ice.
The Canada did have 6 on the ice, it appears, for a moment.
They missed the call.
Here's Byram with it. Bowen Byram sweeps it down. Scooped up by Poulin now. Drops it off for Korzak. His long shot was blocked in front by Albert Johansson. Doc with Krebs posting up in front. Trying to dig it free. Lafreniere calling for it. Back at the point is Korzak, a long shot. That goes wide. Racing to it is Krebs. Great pressure by Canada. A long time in the offensive zone. Krebs works his way in. A Swedish defender doesn't have a stick. Krebs works it back in the corner. Sends it back in front. The pass is picked up by Philip Ostrom. And Ostrom moves it back to center, but not very deep. And Canada fires it back in. These Swedish defensemen are exhausted as the puck goes back into their zone. Lafreniere with the long reach, trying to poke it around. Schneider holds the line for Canada. Long wrist shot, and that's blocked by Arvid Kosmar. Kosmar across for Holtz. He's poke checked there by Schneider. And Doc goes ahead to Krebs. Krebs fires it down, and Canada will change. A very brisk second period already. 9 gone. Pass picked off at center ice by Xavier Perron. Up for Poulin. That's broken up by Kosmar. And the bouncing puck at center goes to Holtz, who slides it back to Ludwig Hedstrom. Lead pass to Kosmar that was poked away by Barron. Brought in now by Poulin. Poulin's got Clark with him. A centering pass broken up. Rebound put high by Perron. Vukojevic trying to hold the line. He does. And in the corner, two players are stuck together. Their helmets got stuck. Clark and Kosmar. Canada and Sweden going head to head, literally, at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. So here's how Canada has done when down in the round robin. Behind 1-0 to Sweden, scored less than 2 minutes later. The semifinal against the U.S. twice answered within 2.5 minutes. And here down 2-0 to Sweden, scored 41 seconds on the goal by Sasha Mutala. And what a second period we've had so far.
Just zipped along. Canada had the puck in the Swedish zone for 1:35.
Now Williams shoots, and that was tagged for the far post. And Alnefelt hangs on.
And they never got a shot on goal, and they had the Swedish team on their heels, tired. Good face-off here. Josh Williams quickly off the face-off, that loose puck.
Now Raymond wins the draw for the Swedes, but Williams battles for it. Coming in is Reese, Jamison Reese. Fights off Lucasen, spins back behind the goal. Reese trying to center it. A tangle up in the corner. Suzuki gets in on Lucasen, but Lucasen slides it up for Anderson. Rink wide for Hendrickson. Here they come again. Drops it back for Raymond. A centering pass. Just missed the intended target, Isaac Anderson. Anderson centers it. Vukojevic breaks it up for Reese. It goes off his skate and just wide. Barron had that broken up by Anderson. And now Suzuki back with it. Ryan Suzuki, the first overall pick in the 2017 OHL draft. The Ontario League and the Quebec League draft midget age players. The Western League drafts bantams. So the players here from the Western League were drafted in 2016. And now that plays offside. The faceoff's going to go all the way back down to the Swedish zone on the intentional offside.
You mentioned Dylan Cousins earlier in the game, and for my Yukon friends, they pointed it out to me a few times. And Jared Dooling was born in Vernon, BC, but he grew up in Whitehorse. 15 games in the NHL, Memorial Cup champion with the Kamloops Blazers. So just want to make sure we point that out. Thank you for everybody to let us know.
So two born in Yukon territory, and Dooling grew up there. Schneider works at 3 at the line, held by Broberg. That long shot deflects wide. Schneider back on it. Up ahead for Metallic. Chips it back for Cousins. Flips it across to Robertson. Matthew Robertson now gains center ice and plays it in. Holloway goes after it. Weird family ties with the Cousins. His grandfather coached Tim Hunter in minor hockey in Calgary. Tim Hunter, now the head coach of the Canadian national junior team, looking on as the stars of the future are struggling their stuff here in Edmonton. There is Tom Rennie, longtime National Hockey League coach, now of course the CEO of Hockey Canada. Coached Kamloops a Memorial Cup title in 1992, then coached the Canucks, Rangers and Oilers in the NHL. And the face-off back in the Swedish zone. 9:02 to go here in the second period. Face-off won by Krebs. Back to Vukojevic. Fires out in the corner. Lafreniere trying to dig it free. Byram shoots. That flutters down. Alnefelt hangs on. Of course, there's TV timeouts in these games, which most European coaches are not accustomed to. So bringing your top line back after a TV timeout. Magnus Havlin's a pretty fiery character behind the Swedish bench.
Well, I'll say this about Magnus Havlin. He just rolls out Holtz and Lucas Raymond every other shift, it seems.
Now Byram shoots, tipped right on by Krebs, and a pad save by Alderfelt. Krebs trying to dig it free. And Bjornfot has it back. Tobias Bjornfot. The Swedish captain lifts it high in the air, gloved down by Bowen Byram. And Byram high off the glass to center. Nice hands play to knock that down by Doc. And Kirby Doc trying to find Krebs. Krebs comes in to help out, slides it back at the point. Korzak with room, shoots. That's knocked away by Alderfelt. Now Raymond sends it down the ice. That'll be an icing call against the Swedes. And Lucas Raymond, you got to think the amount he plays, this is the 5th game in 6 days for him. There's the tip by Krebs.
Just hits the pad of Alderfelt. Looked like he was expecting it to maybe come up onto his chest, but hits his pad. If it goes a little higher, it might have hit the net.
Face off, won by Raymond. Mutala back with it, along with Holloway and Cousins, the forward line for Canada. Holloway. Native of Bragg Creek, Alberta, west of Calgary. Holloway digs it free, gets loose behind the goal. Holloway still on it. Slides the puck back to Justin Barron. His shot pinballs around in front. Holloway spins, shoots, scores! Dylan Holloway, 4-2 Canada.
If you play as much in the offensive zone as Canada has been able to do the last while, at some point in time, if you're Sweden, you're playing with fire. Dylan Holloway finds that loose puck off the shot from the point. Dylan Holloway starts it, he gets it up to the point, and it goes right off of Luxon in front of the net, and then Mutala with the header.
It goes off his mask, so that'll guess will be Mutala's goal. Yeah.
Right off the cage. Would have been off his jaw if he didn't have the cage.
Probably wouldn't be in the net.
Some guys score him the hard way.
So Mutala, who has not scored coming in, has 2. So Canada scored 4 straight after the Swedes took an early 2-0 lead. And Holloway draws the assist. Brought ahead now by Barron. Justin Barron, a hit for Reese. And Berselius back with it. We'll see if the Swedes have a push back. They answered a late Russian goal in the semifinal, as that plays offside at the Canadian line.
You know, you were talking about Lucas Raymond a little bit earlier about playing 5 games in 6 days. Some players just, they not only have the physical stamina, but they have the mental stamina.
Right.
And Lucas Raymond has that. Here's the play again. Dylan Holloway jumping all over that shot off the, after it comes off the pads of Luxon, the defenseman, and Mutala going to the net.
Robertson with it. Drawn to line with Poulin. Robertson, first man into the forecheck for Canada. Clark across for Poulin. Centers it, bouncing puck in front. It's hacked to the line, but not out by Ostrom. In the corner is Lucasen. And again, the pass broken up, this time by Graham Clark. Chip back down to the Swedish zone and back to pick it up. It's Tobias Bjornfot up ahead for Jakob Gronhagen, a 6'5", 210-pound, 17-year-old. Now stolen, a chance right in front. Fired on goal by Joel Waldron. Joel and Max Waldron, twin brothers that play for the Swedish team. Now centered, and Gronhagen with a shot. That's blocked. And Xavier Perron can't cleared by Gronhagen. Now moved to center, Poulin ahead for Perron. And Canada will go off on a change with 6.5 to go in the second period. Albert Johansson banks that down to the Canadian zone. And Gauthier leaves it there for Byram. Krebs for Lafreniere. Now Krebs on the forecheck, and it's taken away by Broberg. And Broberg has it back. Philip Broberg. Wide through center ice, lifts that down. Gauthier knocks that away. And Byram chops at it. Krebs up ahead for Lafreniere. In comes Lafreniere. In alone, a backhand shot, and a penalty coming. Will it be a penalty shot? They're going to call him for the slash. So Lafreniere with a breakaway almost got Canada's 5th goal, and now the Canadians up by 2 will go back to the power play. Broberg goes off. Canada leads 4-2 here in Edmonton. Chris Draper, assistant to the GM Ken Holland of the Detroit Red Wings, is here, along with Montreal GM Marc Bergevin. Vegas GM George McPhee is here. Most of the GMs have been through Edmonton and Red Deer this week to get a look at the start of the scouting season for the 2019 draft. And McPhee's Vegas Golden Knights are loaded with players they've already drafted and picks yet to come. Graham Clark drops it back. Lafreniere on the power play, works it back in. Perron with a shot. Banned on that. The Swedes able to clear it out. So Broberg goes off for the slash on the Lafreniere breakaway. Byram up ahead for Lafreniere. That's kicked away from him. And the clearing attempt hit Holtz. Perron not able to hold the line. It's called offside. So we've talked about the significance of the Hlinka tournament. So in 2017, the summer tournament, into the 2018 draft, 77 players drafted, 19 in the first round. So think about it, 8 teams, 160 players. If you think that up to a quarter weren't eligible for the following draft in the league birthdays or born the following year, it's a high percentage of players picked, and 19 first round picks. You think there'll be a dozen out of this game? Yep. Suzuki back for Barron to Cousins. And Cousins, who figures to be early among them, back for Barron, fanned on that, and Cousins has it back. In for Williams, back to Barron, across to Suzuki. In comes Suzuki, across for Cousins. Works in, shoots, tipped on by Krebs, that goes wide. Now Krebs centers it right back to the point, it goes to Barron. In for Cousins, has a look and shoots, and a pad save made by Alnefelt. 50 seconds to go on the power play. Suzuki back to Barron, winds and shoots, that goes wide off the inboards. Cousins has it. Cousins back for Barron. Over for Suzuki. Back to Cousins. Fires. Alnefelt save. Rebound. Krebs reaching for it. And Alnefelt getting upset. And the face-off, I believe, is coming outside. Are they calling a penalty here? They may be calling a slash here on Canada for the late whack on Alnefelt. And that'll do it for the power play. As Josh Williams goes on.
Canada really sets up this power play nicely. Starts at the right point, then they get it over to Suzuki. As he wheels down, Cousins times it to try to get the puck on the move from the top of the circle. There it is. It starts here across to Suzuki and then back to Cousins. It's a really good save by Alnefelt.
So 4-on-4 now for 36 seconds, and the Swedes will get a power play, barring more penalties.
Number 15, Josh Williams.
As Caden Korzak has it.
Time 15 minutes, 38 seconds.
Korzak gains center ice. Moves it across the line and shoots off the side of the goal. Lafreniere trying to pick it up. Lafreniere. Pass picked off by Kosmar. And away comes Schoberg with it. Bumped there by Korzak. They tangle in the corner for it. Vukojevic picks it up. And Michael Vukojevic, the Oakville, Ontario native, up for Doc. Sweden now on the power play. 1 for 3 in the game. Doc comes in shorthanded. Alnefelt makes the save. And now the Swedes with a chance back the other way. Broberg out of the box, comes in across the line. Lifts it down. Gauthier makes the stop and hangs on.
Kirby Dach is a big rangy player. He uses his hands and then he gets inside of Johansson, pulling it back and then back through him, and pretty good feet work to get to the net. Alnefelt holds that post very nicely, but Kirby Dach is another player. Just the physical maturity is starting to come for him, and he's able to impact the game in more ways.
Well, just think about the physical differences for these players when the draft comes 11 months from now, or 10 months from now. Holloway feeds it down. 3:15 to go in the second period, 50 seconds to go in the Swedish power play. Alexander Holtz has scored the second Swedish goal. Flies it back for Henriksen. That pass broken up. Holloway's away again with Mutala.
Dylan Holloway's had a real bite of this game. Penalty killing, some really good chances, short-handed. The second Mutala goal, he set it up.
Now Raymond works in. Lucas Raymond feeds it back at the point for Henriksen. Carl Henriksen swings it back across the holes with a quick shot. Gauthier save. Rebound goes back to Henriksen. In the corner is Raymond. 15 seconds to go in the power play. The centering pass broken up by Mutala. Now Raymond back with it. Soderblom lurking in front of Gauthier. The centering pass was tipped by Holloway. Henriksen trying to knock it down. Robertson takes a whack at it. And Holloway for Mutala. 2 shots for the Swedes on that power play as Williams steps out. And now Holtz has it back. 2:15 to go in the period. That's wide of the goal as Raymond now picks it up. Raymond's taking Phil Esposito type shifts now with 3 minutes in length. As Mutala plays it back to center ice. Williams watching Broberg. Swings that away the other way. Broberg down in the Canadian zone. Robertson plays it out. Lafreniere drops it back. Krebs kicks it ahead. And Johansson has it back. Kosmar was tied up there by Lafreniere. And Lafreniere back at the point to Vukojevic for Lafreniere. Walks in, shoots. Allenfeld save. Rebound. And that's chipped wide by Lafreniere.
Go here! You have to be able to play in tight areas and make plays in tight areas. Alexis Lafreniere does that.
In comes Doc with it, feeds it down to Krebs. Now Krebs works it free. Loose in the corner with it. Krebs battles there with Berselius. And Oscar Berselius swings it back for Bjornfot. Reese all over him. Back to center ice. That's picked on by Korzak. And Williams gets in the way of that pass. And the Swedes having trouble getting play established here is now brought across the line. Soderblom was poke check. Suzuki fell. And Vukojevic plays that for Reese. Out to center ice for Suzuki. 45 seconds to go in the period. Suzuki lifts it down. Allenfeld plays that away. Hedstrom back on it. Plays it back to center. Barron up ahead for Suzuki. With Williams. A pass off the skate of Williams. Berselius. Out to center. Finds Soderblom. Soderblom in. Shoots Gauthier. The glove save. And that right hand snakes out and hangs onto it. No explanation for why right-handed goaltending, right-handed catching goaltenders are so scarce. We've talked about it with a number of experts and try to figure it out. Just 5 of them played in the NHL last year.
We've seen 2 of them today.
Now you think
Ascara for Russia, now right. Taylor Gauthier.
If you think 10% of the population is left-handed, so you 95 goalies play, there should be at least 10 right-handed catchers. Now that bounces off the side of the goal as time winds down here. Robertson for Mutala. The defenseman foul. Mutala up for Barron to Holloway. He's got Cousins with him. Holloway working in. Time winding down. Holloway back on it. Bumping there with Broberg. And a chance now for Raymond. Time winding down. Raymond works in and won't get a shot away. So Canada gets the only goal of that second period. Sasha Mutala off his mask and in, and Canada has a 4-2 lead after 40 minutes of play. With our second intermission coming up. Tom Runny from Hockey Canada will join Ryan Rishog in our intermission. You're watching the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup, powered by Ram, live on TSN and the NHL Network.
Each season, more than 100 teams take to the ice with hopes of playing at Canada's National Female Midget Championship, the Esso Cup. Premier marketing partner of Hockey Canada, Imperial Oil is proud to help the growth of women's hockey across Canada. Visit hockeycanada.ca/Esso Cup.
Every year, players compete for a chance to play at Canada's National Midget Championship, the TELUS Cup. As the biggest fans of Canada's biggest game, TELUS is helping the hockey stars of today and tomorrow. Visit hockeycanada.ca/TELUS Cup.
Well, after an offensive outpouring of 5 goals in the first period, more defensive heads prevail in the second. Just 1 goal in the middle frame, but it was a big one. 4-2, Canada leads. Joined now by Team Canada forward Sasha Mutala. A pair of goals tonight. Sasha, we'll let you take a look at the nicer of the two, the 4-2 goal. Just right place, right time, I guess, eh?
Yeah, just great shift by Halsey and Cuzzy, and right place, right time, I guess, and they all count though, right?
You had to be hearing about that on the bench a little bit, weren't you?
The boys were having a good laugh, but at this point in the game, it's definitely, any goal is really helpful out there, and they all need them, so that was good.
Your head coach talked about the need to dial it in a little bit defensively. It was a wide open first period. Do you feel you guys did a better job of that in the second?
Oh yeah, for sure. Everyone was tracking back really hard, and everyone had their responsibilities in their own zone. I think we did a really good job.
The barn is almost full. It's a great atmosphere. How exciting is this for you to play this game in Canada?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. It's the first time here, of course, and what a fan group here, and it's amazing. I can't wait to go back on the third.
Thanks, Sasha.
Of course, thanks.
Sasha Mutala, thankful it's an underage tournament, had that cage on to protect the teeth. Hockey Canada CEO Tom Rennie is after the break. We'll talk about a ton of high-end hockey on Canadian soil. You got the Hlinka Gretzky happening here in Edmonton, and then the World Juniors coming your way in Vancouver and Victoria. Of course, all the action getting underway on Boxing Day across the TSN network. Pleased now to be joined by Hockey Canada CEO Tom Rennie. Tom, you guys had a vision. You wanted to bring this tournament to Canada. Maybe weren't sure exactly what to expect as we look behind us. 9,000 plus, Canada in the final. Your thoughts on how all this came together in year one?
Well, it's maybe not what we expected, but certainly what we hoped for, and a real good start to the competition, obviously, and we hope something that can perpetuate itself over the years, Ryan. At the end of the day, it boils down to the province, 2 cities, Red Deer, Edmonton, OEG, ourselves, the sponsors, obviously, and then, of course, the Slovaks and the Czechs agreeing to do this. It's been outstanding.
Take a look at some of the great moments that the tournament has seen through the week. Some great young players, Tom, and I think maybe it's about educating people about who these players are and how big a deal they're going to be.
Well, exactly, Ryan, and I think at the end of the day, when you look at the opportunity to see where the NHL and the game will be going in 4, 6, 8, 10 years from now, that's what makes this event so special, and you can just ask the NHL general managers how important that is.
I do have to ask you about the semifinal, Canada versus the United States. A controversial goal. The video clearly showed there was no time left on the clock. It would have propelled the U.S. into the final. They handled themselves with class, but questions were asked about why that goal wouldn't have been able to have been fixed. What was decided ahead of time?
And it's a great point, and in fairness to the U.S., who have been outstanding with all of this, on that night, last night, they won the hockey game. Unfortunately, and we have to pay close attention to this, we have to watch precedent, and not all 3 venues, Ryan, had the benefit of video replay, so it was decided at the directorate prior to the competition and puck drop that we would not use video review for goals. And at the end of the day, that is what prevailed at the end of the night. The officials on the ice made the call that they thought they should have. We support that completely. I know the U.S., although disappointed, understand that, and that's what probably makes them the class of this competition.
Absolutely. Something that potentially gets reviewed for the next time the tournament comes back?
I think so. The one thing we've got to be careful of, again, is who has the capacity for video review, and not just here, but also in Europe, because this, as you know, will go back and forth.
All right, let's move on. A busy schedule for Hockey Canada. What events do you have coming up that you're looking forward to?
Well, right away, we're into our women's under 18 week of preparation for 4 Nations, which starts in November. That's big. We have our women's development team coming up. The balance of this month, as a matter of fact, is all women's in Calgary and development programs. It's just an outstanding week. And then we look into the under 18 4 Nations competition for women November, and then the under 17 competition for the men's that'll be held in New Brunswick. It's just an outstanding month for us, and the slate is full.
One of the things you tried to wrap around this hockey tournament was almost like a hockey symposium. There were all sorts of events that were happening. We showed highlights today from some of the young novice players that were out on the ice. We saw an unbelievable goal, Tom. Take a look from this little guy. It's all about grassroots for you guys. You want more kids playing the game, and these sorts of things will help, you think?
Absolutely. You know, at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we have viewers, and thanks to TSN, we do, and our other corporate sponsors. But at the end of the day, kids have to watch hockey, identify with their little hero, if you will, and aspire to be players. Now, what we want most of all is the experience to be extraordinary. Whatever they turn into beyond that, Ryan, is up to them, but it's up to us as adults to make sure the experience is exceptional.
Well, Craig Button's scouting report is in. He said that little guy is going to go in the top 10 in 2031. So
if I would have had him here when I was an Oiler coach,
might have been a little different.
Maybe.
You never know. Tom Rennie, CEO of Hockey Canada, thanks for your time. Enjoy the third period.
My pleasure, Ryan. Thank you.
All right. So one goal in the second period. Lafreniere is having a heck of a game. He's had a heck of a tournament. Team Canada, while relying on their offensive weapons. Sasha Mutala, a couple of goals here tonight. Plays for the Tri-City Americans. Speaks 3 languages, English, French, and Korean. How's that for versatility? Potentially a gold medalist. We will see.
Only one goal in the second period. Sasha Mutala gets his second of the game as the shot by Holloway goes in off his mask at 12-12. Canada outshoots Sweden 14-10, 29-15 overall for a 4-2 lead. So you'd look at that and say, well, Canada's had a comfortable game. Not so much so. Canada was down 2-0 early on, and it was a goaltending switch going to Taylor Gauthier that kind of turned things around. This is how Gautier's night began on the bench. Made a catch as the puck was shot in, but moments after that, he came in for real.
Yeah, the right-hand catching goalie, a rarity, reaches right over. He looked like one of those guys coming out of Wrigley Field to try to catch the ball on the foul pop, but he's been very good here. He's been tested by the best offensive players on Sweden. He's found the puck. He's been real tidy and clean in front of his net, and a lot of times coaches make the change to just jolt the team. I don't think Noah Meyer was at fault for those first 2 goals, but Andre Chornay felt that he needed to give his team a little bit of a jolt, and certainly that's what he did.
So the teams will start this third period 5-on-5 with Canada holding a 2-goal lead. Canada has won 9 of the last 10, then known as Hlinka under-18 tournaments. The only exception, the Czech Republic 2 years ago. The Swedes last won it in 2007. Cousins slides it ahead for Holloway. Dylan Holloway for Bowen Byram. Slides that back down to the Swedish zone, and Albert Johansson picks it up. Alexander Holtz for Carl Henderson. He was bumped there by Mutala. The one thing Canada has done in this game and throughout the tournament is roll 4 lines. As Cousins chips that down to the Swedish zone, and Tobias Bjornfort goes back to pick it up. Bjornfort bumped there by Lafreniere. Krebs got in there as well for Celius. As Krebs all over him. Krebs with the steal. Works in. Poke check at the last second by Albert Johansson. Now slid back by Kirby Dock. And racing back is Hedstrom for it. He lost it for a moment. Now held by Barron. And that goes off the stanchion into the Swedish bench. Well, a great turnout tonight. This has been a exciting tournament. Buzz building for it. The lower bowl here is essentially full. Ooh.
Guy in the Hockey Witness Protection Program. Yeah, fantastic atmosphere here tonight for this gold medal game. Tom Rennie, the president of Hockey Canada, touched on it in that interview with Ryan Rishaug. Is it what we expected? Maybe not, but it was what we hoped for. Tom Rennie, the Chief Executive Officer, Hockey Canada. Certainly what I would call a great start in trying to put on display these excellent young players that are the future of the NHL.
Jamison Reese slides that down in the Swedish zone, knocked away by Almefelt. The backup goalie for Sweden is 15-year-old Jesper Wallstedt. Won't be 16 until November, eligible for the 2021 National Hockey League draft, the youngest player in this tournament. And he started 2 games for Sweden in the tournament. Now Henriksen shoots, that's knocked away by Gauthier. Taylor Gauthier is a Calgary native. Went 10th overall in the 2016 Bantam draft. His Cousins comes in. Vitella in, shoots, and just missed the stick of Holloway there.
Very good rusher coming across the line.
Since the Western League Bantam draft began, with 3 goaltenders have been picked higher than Gauthier was, and one of them is Carey Price. Lifted out now by Lucas Raymond. How much left does he have in the tank? He's played a ton. Played monster minutes in the 3rd period of the semifinal yesterday against the Russians. Ludwig Hedstrom. Lead pass for Elmer Soderblom. Soderblom across the line. Shoots. Pad save by Gauthier. Loose puck in front. Scooped up by Justin Barron. And Barron a lead pass. Just missed Lafreniere in a race for it now. Lafreniere dumped his man. And into the end boards hard went Albert Lucassen.
So interesting on the icing with this icing trying to get to the dot. And that's where Lafreniere and Lykasen are trying to get to.
The Swedish doctor, Ryan Allenby's out to look at him. Allenby's actually a Vancouver area native who played for the Chilliwack Chiefs in the BC Junior League. And here's a look at the icing race.
They're trying to get to that dot and then they're bumped together. Lean in. No chance for Lykasen there as he crashes into those back boards to get his balance.
Albert Lucassen, a 17-year-old.
And really, I look at that play, and I'd like to know what the necessity is for Alexis Lafreniere to make body contact with. You're trying to race to the dot. Well, race to the dot. Why do you have to get your arm up? Because there is a risk there.
The official talking to Lafreniere.
You know, I guess, and Lykasen is leaning into Lafreniere too, so both of them.
And I believe they're going to call for a stretcher here, just to be cautious for Lucassen.
Lucasen trying to hold off Lafreniere. They get in tight on the body. Really no need for Lykasen to do that.
Well, now he's up on all fours.
So Lafreniere trying to get to the spot, and Lykasen trying to hold him off a little bit, and Lafreniere resisting, and the bigger, stronger Lafreniere gets that advantage, and Lykasen falls, and obviously in great distress.
So there's no penalty on the play. The face-off back down to the Canadian zone. And Lucassen is being taken to the Swedish dressing room. Mike Campbell, Alex Normandin, the 2 officials today. Berzelius for the face-off against Krebs. Berzelius wins it. Back to Johansson, a centering pass. And Soderblom couldn't get a shot away. If you're just joining us, the gold medal game of the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup. First time it's been held in Canada in this format. The top under 18 players from around the world have gathered, most of them eligible for the 2019 draft. Kirby Doc trying to work that free. He and Krebs work at the corner for it. And Doc trying to pick it free. Picked up by Berzelius. He finds Soderblom. And Soderblom with Doc all over him. Works back to the side of the goal, and Doc got a stick on him. Soderblom stays on it. They lock skates. Soderblom stays with it. Trying to center it. Berzelius back on it. Boy, Soderblom's a handful there at 6'6". Now for the point. And the shot by Broberg goes wide. Down low is Max Wahlgren. Wahlgren. He is his twin brother Joel, play for the Modo under-18 team in Orange Cold Beak, Sweden, where the Sedin twins play. And now fired down the ice by Canada. This will be an icing call. So 15:22 left in the period. Canada out shooting Sweden 30-16 after falling behind 2-0. 2 goals in the first 3 shots for the Swedes.
Well, this is a tired Canadian team out here on the ice after that icing. And Right over the boards come Lucas Raymond and Alexander Holtz. So opportunity here potentially for Sweden. Canada calls a timeout for exactly that reason.
Now that's something you can't do in the NHL. There's a little difference between the NHL rule book and the IIHF rule book. In the NHL, they changed that a couple of years ago that you can't call a timeout after the icing.
Do you think that that should be in the IIHF?
I think the IIHF should adopt that as well.
Well, they're pretty tired, and Andre Chornay certainly recognized that. Give them a little bit of a breather. And when you see the two most dangerous Swedes come over the boards in Raymond and Holtz.
Where'd that kid get that hat? I like it. So Raymond and Holtz, both 16-year-old, have combined to score 7 goals. And Raymond has been just maniacal on the puck.
Yes, that's a great term. Great term. I love it.
You get the sense there's a scouting expression. If you put the puck in someone's pocket here in the stands, you'd eventually find it.
Yeah, he searches it out and finds it.
Boy, this defense pair for the Swedes get the workout as well. Bjornfort and Broberg. And Broberg steps around Suzuki. Kick ahead for Williams. Up for Suzuki, back to Williams. Scores! Josh Williams, the give and go with Suzuki, and it's 5-2 Canada.
You reach a point if you're Sweden and your best players, they want to try to make a difference in the game. You're down by 2. But this is a situation where Philip Broberg is trying to beat Suzuki coming here through the middle, and Suzuki gets himself in good position, hip on hip, and the turnover starts. And Josh Williams with the quick give and go. He gives the puck up, and watch how he gets his hand set. There's the real good play by Suzuki. And then as Williams gives it up, right away his hands get set again for the shot. That's why he's a top-end goal scorer.
So 5 consecutive goals for Canada, a 5-2 lead here in the third period. Now a penalty coming. And I believe it's going to be Dylan Holloway who goes off. And so the Swedes, moments after giving up the 5-2 goal, are going to go to the power play here as Dylan Holloway goes off.
Tripping penalty in the corner, right in front of the referees.
Good call, a slash, actually.
Oh. Slashing, oh yeah, there he is, right on the hands, and then he
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Costner falls. And here's the goal again. So Williams the pass, and then his hands are set to get the puck back, and in one quick motion, that's off his stick, and Antival has to get set for the one position, and he has no chance to get back because of the release of Josh Williams.
5th goal in 5 games for Williams, with 2 against the United States, including the overtime winner. Swedes are 1 for 4 in the power play with 7 shots. They scored on their first shot of the game, which was on the power play, a goal by Lucas Raymond. Raymond swings it back for Bjornfot. Back in for Henriksen. Again, defender Schneider without a stick. And then Krebs as well didn't have a stick, so that stoppage comes at an opportune time for Canada. Earlier today, Russia won the bronze medal game. Vasily Podkolzin put on a show with a hat trick. Scored 8 times in 5 games in the tournament. As all the earmarks of being the next great Russian player.
Certainly does.
Alexander Holtz up for Raymond. Lucas Raymond lines in. And a bouncing puck hacked at by Suzuki. And now fired down the ice by Korzak. Back to pick it up is Tobias Bjornfort. Bjornfort played most of this year for the Djurgården under-20 team. So while a lot of these players play for under-18, under-17 teams, he played with the Djurgården junior team against players 2 and 3 years older than him.
The J20 league in Sweden is a very competitive league, and they go through the year and then they get it into a J20 top 10, the Elite 10, and it's very skilled players and very competitive.
Broberg, back across for Kosmar. Back at the point is Broberg. Brings it across, the pass back, hammered wide by Kosmar, who missed by a wide margin. The puck goes back down the ice. 13 to go here in the third period. 31-16, the shots on goal in favor of Canada. And time winds down to the power play as Holtz brings it in. No shots for the Swedes in that power play as Holtz sends it in. And Suzuki across to Bowen Byram. Cranbrook BC native. Town that gave us the Niedermeyer brothers, among others. Now picked free by Henriksen. Lead pass for Raymond. One-on-one with Byram. In comes Lucas Raymond. Walks in the middle. A little backhand pass in front. Couldn't quite reach Holtz. That was broken up by Korzak. And Korzak ranges ahead for it. In comes Korzak. That's bumped there by Henriksen. Holtz goes rink wide for Raymond. In on Vukojevic. And Vukojevic stayed with Raymond, knocked that away.
Nice play by Vukojevic, just with his stick right in front where Raymond can't maneuver the puck into a shooting position.
Lafreniere lost the handle there. Now back to pick it up is Hedstrom. Loose at center ice. Vukojevic lays it back for Barron. He falls and from his knees. Played that out of harm's way. The rolling puck though picked up by Joel Wahlgren. Crunch there by Barron, and Vukojevic picks up the loose puck. Rink wide pass for Doc with Krebs and Lafreniere. Doc sends it back in front right through the crease. And Berzelius bumped there by Doc. Schneider back with it now. Braden Schneider, the Prince Albert, Saskatchewan native. Snaps the pass ahead for Lafreniere. Now Xavier Perron with a rolling puck at center ice. 9 gone here in the third period. Canada fell behind 2-0 early on and scored 5 consecutive goals. And now Clark on it. Lead pass goes to Schoberg. He got bumped there by Schneider. And Gauthier plays it around. Well, whatever the reason was behind the move by Andre Tournier to take his goaltender Nolan Meyer up, the move was sparked Canada in a big way. Isaac Anderson shoots. Gauthier makes the stop. The puck loose, and Gauthier dives out to pounce on it. 10:24 to go in the third period. Canada has reeled off 5 straight goals, the latest from Josh Williams, to delight the Canadian bench, and frustration for the Swedes. Referee Alex Norman now is wearing the referee camera for us tonight. Here's what he's seen and heard.
Goal scored on the power play by number 26. The assist.
He had the best seat in the house for the Lafreniere goal.
Didn't he?
Albert Johansson trying to hold the line for the Swedes. Knocked down by Raymond. I think Lucas Raymond is going to sleep well in the flight home to Sweden.
Maybe the entire, what would it be, about 12 hours? I guess they don't go direct from here. You have to make a stop.
The long trip is a centering pass and a save made by Allenfelt. Point blank on Jamison Rees. Rees pivots back in the corner. Centers it. Williams with a drive. Allenfelt makes the save on Josh Williams, who can really rip it.
He knows how to get himself open in the right spots in the offensive zone.
Here he comes again with Suzuki. The drop pass for Suzuki. Winds in. And the bouncing puck is scooped ahead by Hedstrom. Up for Raymond. Now knocked down by Hedstrom.
Seems as if Sweden's lost a little bit of their zip after that 5th goal by Canada.
Korzak sends it down, picked up by Bjork. But if there's one thing we know with players at this age and the World Junior age is that momentum can swing in a hurry. And Matala back with it.
Yeah, we've seen those wild swings.
Dylan Cousins jumps in across the line. Cousins with a head of steam. Sends it back in front. Great chance of the side of the goal for Matala, who almost got the hat-trick goal there.
There it was, right on his stick. There's Cousins coming right back through the middle of the ice on the back check. He plays the entire surface of the ring.
Nifty move at center ice, and Cousins wrist that down. Alnefelt has to play it there. He's penalized in the first period for freezing the puck when the referee felt he could have played it. And Soderblom pumped there by Lafreniere. 8.5 to go in the third period. Gord Miller, Craig Button, Ryan Rashog, our TSN production team here in Edmonton at the inaugural Gretzky Hlinka Cup. The tournament's had a number of incarnations over the years since it began in 1991. The first 4 tournaments were played in Japan. As Doc works in, known as the Phoenix Cup. Then the Copa del Sol, the tournament in Mexico, and Schneider fires. And Alnefelt never saw that. Doc reaches for it. He got taken down. And now lifted ahead by Soderblom. Elmer Soderblom. Nifty move around Schneider. Centers it, and Lafreniere comes back to take it away. We mentioned this tournament open to players born in 2001 or later, which means that they're eligible to play as late as the 2021 World Junior. Canada will have that tournament, and there's a lot of talk that it might be right here in Edmonton.
Fans attending here this gold medal game or watching on TV can say, hey, we first saw these players at the Hlinka Gretzky.
My first experience with the under-18s was 05 in the Czech Republic during the lockout that year. Canada had Carey Price in goal, James Neal up front. Phil Kessel played for Team USA, Jack Johnson, Eric Johnson. Nick Backstrom played for the Swedes.
And this is it. This is the progression. It starts U17, then U18, U20, NHL.
Now in front of the Swedish bench, we got a penalty coming as Ryan Suzuki was taken down. And it looks like offsetting minor penalties are going to give the cross-check to Holtz. And Suzuki gets unsportsmanlike conduct. So off goes Suzuki and off goes Alexander Holtz. 4-on-4, and Suzuki gets called for unsportsmanlike conduct. They're suggesting he embellished this. .6:46 remaining in the third period. We will stay after the game for the presentations of the gold and silver medals. So last week we were in Kamloops at the World Junior Showcase. We saw players like Jack Hughes. It is brought in by Cousins. Cousins with a penalty coming, shoots. Alnefelt makes the stop. And a slashing call.
I don't know why that's not a penalty shot.
I was wondering, the official kind of looked like he was going to call one.
Call it. I mean, he's in clear. The guy's taken away a clear scoring chance. That's the definition of a penalty shot.
And that's what Canada's asking of the referee. Although at this point, if you're Canada, you're happy with the 2-minute power play and chew some more time off the clock.
Yeah, no, that's the benefit, but
Canada 0 for 2 on the power play in the game. Cousins stays out there now. It's 4-on-3.
Number 27, Alexander.
And Byram
2 minutes for cross-check.
swings it down to Cousins. Cousins for Byram.
Canada's number 16.
Down to Cousins.
2 minutes for unsportsmanlike embellishment.
With Doc screening in front. Lafreniere down to Doc.
Cross-checking to Team Captain Suzuki.
Alexis Lafreniere, the native of Saint-Eustache, Quebec, just outside Montreal. Now Lafreniere fires high and wide. The puck still score. Off the end boards, off Alnefelt and in.
I think it's Lafreniere's goal. I don't think Kirby Dach ever touched it. It was laying around there, and Dach was in the vicinity of it. I think it came hot off the glass, off the shot by Lafreniere, and off the back of Annafeld. When you're hot, you're hot. There it is, off the glass, and that Dach never gets a hold of it. Goes off the right pad.
Hit Dach on the way to the boards.
I don't think so. That went over the net, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it found its way in. Off the heel of Annafeld and in. So it's a power play goal for Canada and a 6-2 lead. And think about how this game started. The Swedes scored the power play less than a minute in, grabbed a 2-0 lead, had the wide edging shot, and then Canada just took it over from there and made the goaltending change. And whether that sparked them or not, it has been all Canada ever since then.
Well, and the conviction of Andre Jordan, he saw it and he said, I need to make a change here. And it certainly jolted Canada. You know, it's 6-2. There's no question that Canada's going to win the gold medal here. I've seen Canada celebrate a lot in Europe after winning the Hlinka Memorial. This will be pretty special for these group of young men to celebrate on home ice. They came together a couple of weeks ago to a camp in Calgary, 44 of Canada's best 2001 borns. I'll tell you, Gord, it was a very competitive camp. A lot of good players that didn't make this team, but it pushes you. It's a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, and obviously very successful.
Now Lund with a long shot that dribbles down in front, picked up by Schneider. This is the beginning of a very long year for these draft prospects. They will go from here to most of their junior teams. Some will try out for the Canadian national junior team at Christmas time, then either play in the junior playoffs or the spring under-18 tournament, then off to the combine, the draft. As Cousins winds in a backhand shot kicked up by Annafeld. After prospects camp, you go to rookie camp, the World Junior Summer Camp. It's a very busy calendar. Poulin. Back for Barron. And Justin Barron with it. Long wrist shot goes off the leg of Oscar Bersellius.
I'm watching Dylan Cousins here. I'm going to be very curious to see how much better he becomes once he gets all grown up.
6'3", 181 pounds.
He's just a pup. He's like that young pony that you know is going to be a thoroughbred.
Back down the Canadian zone. Here's Korzak with it. For Vukojevic. Look down the Swedish zone. Nicely waved off. Clark got there. Feeds it back in front for Pullman. Clark has it now. Graham Clark spins and fires. Off a leg and wide. Perron back with it. Xavier Perron. Plays it back for Korzak. Shot to 11-2 Canada here in the third period.
They've really asserted themselves, and as we've seen throughout the tournament, the depth of Canada has just been too much.
In comes Suzuki now. Ryan Suzuki goes behind his back, and Josh Williams has it back.
And I should say the depth of Canada in this game has been too much for Sweden.
Lead pass knocked away by Matthew Robertson. We began this day talking about the dynamic Swedish defense, but the Canadian defense has been terrific in this game.
Andre Jordan at the outset of this game talked about making good decisions, moving the puck quick. Canadian defense has done that. It's been a really full and complete effort here.
Meantime, on the Swedish bench, Albert Lucassen is shaken up with a collision with Lafreniere. He left the ice very slowly. He's on a stool behind the Swedish bench, still in some pain. Robertson plays it back down to the Canadian line. Here's Robertson back forward. And an icy call against Canada. 2:12 to go in the third period. So for a lot of these players, the next stop will be for the Swedes will play with their national team breaks with the under-18 and under-20 teams. I would imagine that we'll see, 5 or 6 of these Swedish players will be candidates to play for their national junior team. Thomas Monton, their head coach, was here. As that shot by Arvid Kosmar is stopped. 2:08 remaining here in period number 3, and Canada has a 6-2 lead at the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup, the gold medal game. Alexis Lafreniere with 5 goals in this tournament is now tied for first place in the tournament with 11 points. Lafreniere, 16 years of age, will be 17 in October. He was the first overall pick of the 2017 Quebec League draft. Was the Quebec League Rookie of the Year last year, scoring 42 goals and 80 points in 60 games with Rimouski. Of course, that's the franchise that gave us Vincent Lecavalier, Sidney Crosby, Brad Richards, among others.
Those are,
just start there.
I mean, Rocket Richard winner and Vincent Lecavalier and Brad Richards, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner in 2004 when Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup, and
Sidney Crosby,
everything else.
Won everything.
Member of the Triple Gold Club, which is the Stanley Cup, the World Championship gold and Olympic gold.
The only player to captain all 3 teams he won with. As Cousins works in, drops it back for Holloway. That's poked away. Picked up by Metalla. Shoots. That goes wide. And Sasha Metalla, who came with just 2 assists in 4 games, scores 2 big goals for Canada in this one. And a minute and a half to go in the third period. Cousins plays it back across. And Vukojevic slides it back down to the Swedish line. Pulan stepped into his man. And here's Albert Johansson. Swedes will be looking for revenge in Vancouver at the World Junior after that heartbreaking loss to Canada in the gold medal game last year. As Clark has it back, and this crowd saluting Team Canada into the final minute now of the third period. I hope these fans take a program from this and just stash it in a drawer somewhere, and then 10 years from now take it back out and have a look at some of the players they saw here. It's been extraordinary.
It really has been. Word of mouth does so much, but when you see it with your own eyes for a week and the quality of talent, it's impressive.
Broberg, a long shot, kicked out by Gauthier. Tournament being held in Canada for the first time, and we'll let these fans in Edmonton bring it home. Canada wins gold at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Tournament that salutes 2 of the greats in the game. Saw a whole bunch of future greats play for an extraordinary week in Edmonton and Red Deer. We'll stay for the presentations of the silver and gold medals and the playing of the Canadian anthem.
Canada was afforded the opportunity to play in the gold medal game, and they took full advantage of it. Andre Tournier making the goalie change when they're down 2-0. Taylor Gauthier flawless in the net.
So Canada's won 10 of the last 11 summer under-18 tournaments.
And Gord, I have no doubt that Alexis Lafreniere will be at the World Junior Selection Camp in December.
Jacob Pelletier, you saw there,
broken hand.
Pelletier broke his hand in Canada's last game against the Swedes. Let's go down to the ice level with Ryan Rashad.
All right, Gord, thank you very much. Alexis Lafreniere joining us. Alexis, it's been a long week, a build towards this. How did it feel to hop over the boards in front of Canadian fans and celebrate?
Oh, it's amazing. I think we worked so hard for that, and to do it at the end, it's always a real nice feeling.
This was not an easy game. Sweden got up 2-0 on you early. What did you guys say to one another to try and stay calm and keep your heads in it?
Yeah, just keep grinding. I think we're a really gritty team, and we work really hard. So we know that's going to come back if we keep grinding and keep working. So that was what we said.
Alexis, you're a young, developing player. Do you feel like through the course of a tournament like this, you even got more confident and improved?
Yeah, for sure. You learn a lot with these tournaments. Every time I come to Hockey Canada, I learn a lot, so that was really nice.
Go celebrate, bud. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Alexis Lafreniere will have to wait until the 2020 National Hockey League draft. He's a late birthday in 2001.
Based on what I've seen, Gord, if there's a player better available for the 2020 draft, and we've seen some good ones here, like Lucas Raymond, but it'll be a really special player that'll unseat him as the first overall pick.
All right, time now for the presentation of the silver medals and then the gold to Canada. Tara Veer, the mayor of Red Deer, is part of the post-game ceremony. So these Canadian players line up, and then we'll get the presentation of the medals.
Ivan Hlinka, Mrs. Labenya Helinkova.
The widow of the late Ivan Hlinka. What an international player he was and a coach. He guided the Czechs to the gold medal in Nagano in '98. And the Hlinka Gretzky Cup brought out the first incarnation of this form of the tournament. It's had a lot of different names and titles over the years.
Red Deer's Tara Veer and City of Edmonton's John Zadek to present silver medals, The following players from Team Sweden, please skate forward to accept their Hlinka Gretzky Cup silver medal. Goaltender number 1, Hugo Alnefelt.
Alnefelt has started the last 2 games for the Swedes in goal, along with Jesper Wallstedt, the 15-year-old goaltender, who will be 16 in November.
Hard to believe, isn't it? And he was a third goalie for Sweden at the last U18 tournament this previous April in Russia.
Now the Swedes will come over and shake the Canadians' hands as they receive their medals. Got to think the Americans are watching this and saying this could be us after the controversial end of the semifinal yesterday against Canada.
Good job, buddy.
All these Swedish players played last year at home. None of them played in North America, which is unusual for them.
Number 19, Jakob Grönhagen. Number 20, Carl Henriksson.
Coaches will all receive medals as well. You'll see a number of these players in the not so distant future. Perhaps some even in Vancouver, the World Junior. The year after that, the Czech Republic for 2020. And Lucas Raymond, what a tournament he had. What a player he is. Another guy who has to wait till 2020 to be drafted. He's born in 2002.
The challenge
is a lot of respect for Canadian players, as he should.
Yeah.
He's a heck of a player.
Yes, he is. And, you know, they had the international breaks, and for Thomas Montan of Team Sweden, head coach, and he's going to be the head coach next year. He's got a really good, solid center ice. So in November, he might be able to see if Raymond and Holtz could hold their own at that level. It always gives you that opportunity to test them. They certainly have shown that they're elite players here against players a year older. Not just holding their own, dominating.
And time now for the presentations of the gold medal. IIHWHockey Hlinka will do the honors along with Joe Drago, the chairman of the Board of Governors of Hockey Canada.
We now ask Hockey Canada's Joe Drago and Miss IIHWHockey Hlinka to present the gold medals.
And so here you go. Starting with the goaltenders. Taylor Gauthier from Calgary, Alberta. Nolan Meyer from Yorkton, Saskatchewan. Justin Barron from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Matthew Robertson from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Owen Byram from Cranbrook, BC. Micah Vukojevic from Oakville, Ontario. Caden Korzak from Yorkton, Saskatchewan. Braden Schneider from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Maxon Gannett from Ancien Lorette, Quebec. Graham Clark from Ottawa, Ontario. Jameson Reese from Hamilton, Ontario. Alexis Lafreniere from Saint-Eustache, Quebec. Jacob Pelche from Quebec City. Sasha Mutala from Vancouver. Josh Williams from Langley, BC. Ryan Suzuki from London, Ontario. Kirby Dock from Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta. Peyton Krebs from Okotoks, Alberta. Samuel Poulin from Blainville, Quebec. Dylan Holloway from Bragg Creek, Alberta. Dylan Cousins from Whitehorse, Yukon Territory. And Xavier Perron from Blainville, Quebec. The players for Team Canada. Head coach Andre Tournier. And his assistants, Mitch Love, Ryan Holohan. And the Canadian staff will all receive their gold medals. Jason LaBarbera, former NHL goalie, is the goaltending coach here for Canada. And the Canadian players, the coaches and staff will line up. They'll get a team picture from this and look back and think, that was quite a time.
Well, in a few years' time, we'll be able to show some pictures of these guys after they had some years in the NHL, and we can look back a little bit to when they were just youngsters.
We've looked back at the photos over the tournament. Young Sidney Crosby and Carey Price and Chris Pronger.
Mesdames et messieurs, restez debout pour l'hymne national du Canada.
piece of business now. The first time this trophy will be presented. The Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Next year will be held in Slovakia and the Czech Republic, back here in Canada in 2020. And Captain Alexis Lafreniere will accept the trophy, which comes off the base. Who knew? That's tricky. Youthful exuberance and bright futures ahead. The game will lead them to many places, a lot of the National Hockey League, but a moment they'll never forget. And Pelche, who got hurt in the first game, or the last game of the round robin rather, who can't hold it with both hands, gets some help. Another assist for Lafreniere.
Yes. To take over the tournament scoring lead.
How about that? Goche comes off the bench and posts a shutout.
Well, just another example. You got to be ready. You never know when you're going to be called upon. Goche hadn't played since the second game of the tournament. He was flawless in this game.
Bo, come take this shit.
And they'll gather at center ice. This tradition began with the Edmonton Oilers. Wayne Gretzky began this, gathered the Oilers after they won the Stanley Cup in 1988. At center ice for a picture with a cup, but every Stanley Cup team, every World Championship team, World Junior team has done it since.
And it's become part of the celebration. And if you don't have that picture at center ice after you've won, you're not doing it right. Canada comes to this tournament every year with a target on their chest, because everybody in the world knows that Canada has access to their very best players. So everybody is up for them, and every game for Canada becomes a unique challenge.
(6-2), Canada wins the gold medal game. We're scoring 6 straight after falling behind 2-0 in the first period.
Go for a skate. This way.
Some local boys there.
Okay, pass it up. Lock in here, right here. Right here, buddy, right here.
44 players come to the tryout camp.
Yeah.
So one player there was 45 invited ultimately. Massimo Rizzo, who plays in Penticton, was unable to participate in the camp because of injury. But those 45 players, not a one of them has ever been cut in their life.
No.
And they know coming into that selection camp, it's going to be competitive. They're going to push each other. It really is an unbelievable experience to watch that camp, and then to watch how they come together as a team after they've competed so hard against one another to make the team. Dylan Holloway with the Okotoks Oilers of the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Headed to Wisconsin to play for Tony Granato.
Yeah, in the fall of 2020.
Alan Miller there to your right. He was the general manager of this team. And on the other side of Andre Jordan, he's the head scout for Hockey Canada, Brad McEwen.
Vukojevic hands off to Suzuki. He'll follow his brother Nick into the first round of the NHL draft. (6-2) your final score. Canada has won the first installment of the Hlinka Gretzky Cup in Edmonton. We're back with more in a moment.
The 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup from Edmonton and Red Deer, Alberta is brought to you by Esso. The Esso brand has fueled Canada's love of hockey for over 30 years. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey team. And by TELUS. Stand with TELUS to bring good sportsmanship online. Together, we can end bullying.
Celebration and elation on the faces of the Team Canada members. Gold medal here at the 2018 Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Look at the final standings. Canada with the gold medal. The Russians earlier today beat the United States to win a bronze, but for Canada, the domination at this event continues. Take a look at these numbers. 10 of the last 11 years, Canada has won this event. In 28 years of competition, they've won gold 22 times. Nobody knew what to expect when the event came back to Canada, and the local boys came through in front of the hometown fans. You know, for years, this tournament was a hidden gem overseas. Finally, a chance for us to broadcast it live. And boy, did it pay off. What a great finish to the first edition of the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. A gold medal for Canada in front of a sold-out barn here in Edmonton. The Hlinka Gretzky Cup, we are proud to bring it to you. Thanks so much for watching this entire tournament. It was a real fun week, and it wasn't easy for Canada. You know, they faced some adversity through the week. They started the tournament absolutely blowing the doors off of everybody, but it got tougher as the competition did. But in the end, the opportunity to hop off the bench and celebrate with their buddies. Team Canada wins gold in Canada. Tough to beat that. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again, hopefully this time next year.